Shit.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. What is good, gentlemen? It's been a little over a week since your boy hopped in, and it's good to see everybody's smiling faces this morning. The Bears get back on track. They get a dub down in Washington. Should have got a dub against Denver, and it seems like we're rolling a little bit, fellas. And, I mean, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. That's the saying we say around here. But I think the Bears, I think we look pretty good, fellas. Jordan, I know you're always the cynic, but I can't help myself but get up on this pedestal. I mean, it is what it is. Good morning, fellas. What's going on? I'll start with Tooch, and we can hit intros, and then we got a little special guest. Go ahead, Tooch.
I see him there. He's not on the screen yet, but he's in town for the game. So, yeah, I can't wait to hear it. I'm hoping C-Dub brought some wine gums and Maltesers from Britain, a little Cadbury chocolate maybe for his host there. But
I don't know if they let him fly like that.
But I like the Bears today, man, especially like the Bears are good in the first half. You're getting 1.5 for the Bears first half. Also like the over. Bears overs have been cashing big time this season. I think they're 5-0. For the over, and it's the only thing that worries me is the weather. It rained all night last night, I'm told, but it looks like it's okay right now, sunny. So maybe weather shouldn't be a factor. Bears get back Kyler Gordon today, like the Bears though, +3.
KB, what's good, brother?
It's good, people. You know what I'm saying? Your boy in the building, man, feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Notre Dame had a good win last night, so the air around the city's pretty happy. I can care less, but it is what it is. Man, I'm excited to see how this game goes, man, and see if this trajectory continues to go upwards. You know what I'm saying? You got to stack a win and a win, man. So get you a game today. You want to win the division. It ain't looking too bad. So other than that, man, you know what I'm saying? It rained all night, like my boy Two said. I haven't been outside yet to see if it started to dry up at all. But it's the fall. I know how it is. Football season, baby.
We beat the 49ers in the rain last year. Maybe it's a good omen for the Bears. Maybe that's the new quote-unquote bear weather.
Yeah, there you go.
Jordan, bright and early for you out there. How you doing this morning?
Always and forever, fellas, but love being here. Wouldn't have it any other way. Excited to talk about this game. This is one that I've got some priors on that I'll get off my chest, but I'm excited for it. It's looking good. And chat, good morning. Thank you for being here. As we always talk about, this show wouldn't exist if you all weren't here. So do us a favor, sit back, enjoy, but also while you're doing it, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get to it.
Well, I was just about to bring in Chris, but he hopped out for a second. Chris is at the tailgate with Mr. Shorty. So when he does hop back in, I will bring him in so we can get a live look at what the tailgate looks like down there. and talk to those guys and everything. But yeah, man, I mean, you guys want to talk any college ball? Anything big happened yesterday that maybe some my college team, they pissed down their leg. They got up big early on Missouri. Missouri did a fake punt pass for a freaking touchdown, and then the rest was history. They just kind of took the momentum after that, and it really made me upset. I stayed up late watching that game, and it sucks. It was on at the same time as the Notre Dame versus USC game, so I didn't see it, but I saw what Twitter was saying. Jordan, what happened with Caleb Williams yesterday? Is he not a generational talent? Do you still think? I mean, it's just a hiccup, and he's still good, or because like me and KB were talking before I got on the show, and every year it seems like these analysts come on here and tell you this is a can't miss prospect. He's generational. Like, how do we have a generational
Chris
talent
Sims on the
in
phone?
every draft?
Chris Sims. AC, it's a good question. I appreciate it. I think you've even heard me say just pump the brakes on the generational talk. You know, and it's tough. I don't mean to make it all just about physical tools, but you're not generational unless when you're 6'1" and 220. I mean, you got to have some size.
6'1".
I mean, that's the thing is like when you talk about these generational prospects. I mean, you think of Andrew Luck, you think of a guy like Trevor Lawrence, you think about John Elway, and of course you have to scale it respective of when they came up in the game. Elway doesn't look like Herbert, for example, Josh Allen, but you know, even Mahomes, I get it, he's 6'3", but they all have something about them. And I want to be very clear. I think this is just a blip. Every dog has his day. I'm a big J.J. McCarthy fan. He looked like garbage against Bowling Green and TCU last year. Caleb Williams has had a tough stretch yesterday. Cam Ward looked awful against UCLA last week. I mean, we can go down the list. Drake May plays down to competition and has boneheaded mistakes from time to time. Yes, he has nobody around him, but you know he'll lose to a Georgia Tech. He'll play up tough against an App State. Like, if you're that dude, aren't you really elevating your whole team above those teams? So every dog has his day, but to be fair, Caleb Williams isn't generational yet. He has, and this whole talk about he's Patrick Mahomes, the closest thing we've seen to Patrick Mahomes. People need to shut the fuck up with that. I got to be honest. I'm gonna put it.
They said that about Zach Wilson too. So, like, to put that stamp on a kid, that's
the thing.
A lot to live up to.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback anybody alive on this fucking planet has put their eyes on ever. I know.
My guy.
Joe,
I wanted the Bears to take him 3 overall.
And Tooch, I mean, listen, I don't mean to put you on like this, but you're the old head here, respectfully. I know I wasn't old enough to see, Tom Lujack at Bart Starr. Hey, Patrick Mahomes better than Jay Marino, whatever. Like, he's the best fucking quarterback ever. So before you just sit there and heap that name on a guy like Caleb Williams, understand it. So I'll be really quick here, AC. To your point, what happened to Caleb Williams? He had to play within structure. He had a bunch of design pressures come against him, some simulated pressures, some great blitz packages set up by Marcus Freeman. And all of a sudden, when he had to play within structure, he didn't know how to operate. And this is something that I have been saying. And you know me, fellas, I loved Zach Wilson coming out, and I'll own my priors on that.
Right.
But what I learned from Zach Wilson that I've been applying to Caleb Williams, and that's why you haven't heard me talking about his name more than guys like J.J. McCarthy, is that when those guys don't have clean pockets or no defender within 5 yards of them from the time of the throw, all of a sudden it gets muddy. When he's able to create and get outside the pocket and there's nobody around him for a few yards, oh, it looks beautiful. When he's able to just do this shitty back step that's not a real drop back and he can just cockily backpedal and just throw one, that looks great. But all of a sudden, when his offensive line's getting heated up and he's got to be able to step up and make plays, you saw it, and there's no excuse for his interceptions. It's not, it bounced off of a receiver's hand. No, he's fucking airmailing it to the defense. Mm-hmm. And I understand he had one solid play. I'll get off my horse on this. I understand he had one solid play to get the touchdown.
Yeah.
Sure, he climbed the pocket. It looked good. It looked like what Justin Fields did against the Commanders.
Well, we've got a special guest coming in live in the area, our man C-Dub, along with Mr. Shorty, and I believe that's George S. Hallis standing behind them. What's going on, brother?
Hello,
Brother,
fellas.
man, I don't think I've ever seen that man that clear, bro. What?
Yeah, never.
Yeah, man. I'm live here at Soldier Field for the Barrow Network and for the Tailgate show, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. I've not stopped smiling for the last sort of 4 hours, man. And it's just like the experience is awesome. Chicago's been awesome so far, and it's really nice to have a chance to share this moment with you boys as well. Because I know we'll have it next week, but yeah, my first impressions, mate, it's impressive, and we're gonna have a lot of fun today, and the Bears are gonna win.
That's so awesome.
Go
Bears! Go Bears! Let's
Yeah.
go. That's
He
awesome.
had his first Portillo's yesterday. I took a video.
Oh.
I'll have to send it to you,
Got you
Aaron.
an
and you
Italian
can use it on
beef?
next
Let's
week's
go.
show.
Yeah. Do you have a
Awesome.
Chicago dog too?
What's that?
Yeah. Chicago dog and Italian beef?
Not yet. That's next.
Yeah. But it was awesome.
Nice.
I loved it. It was really nice. So
I tried to take him to Uno's, but we were doing a live show on my channel, and we were driving into the city. He was on, like, you got to see his expression to seeing the city at night, you know, coming up to like Gotham City, you know. And then the directions got me, the GPS got me off on Lower Wacker, so I went in the wrong garage hotel and destroyed the roof of my truck on the ceiling.
Oh
Oh
no.
my
Shattered the moon roof and everything. Disaster. But
that
it
is-
doesn't matter because it's just a truck. And Chris is here. And Chris was on the morning show on Fox News.
Oh.
on Friday,
we'll have to
too.
pull that
Yeah.
clip and have
Yeah.
Aldo put that up as barroom
Yeah.
stuff.
Gotta
That's
pull that clip.
yeah, I actually got to meet George McCaskey's wife as well. She was really nice.
oh,
I'll be
that's
back.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And we're meeting with Larry Mayer today. Larry Mayer, the writer of the Bears, contacted
Having lunch
us.
with Larry.
Nice.
Yep. And he's doing a piece on this whole thing for next week.
Oh,
And
that
we
is
have
so
to, We're going to
awesome.
be meeting
dude.
up with him at some point today. So
Excellent.
it's going to be freaking amazing, right?
it's gonna be
C-Dub's about
awesome.
to be an international
I
star.
know.
While he's in town, you got
You
to
knew
take
it were
him.
always coming, AC. You knew it were always coming.
That,
But anyway, guys, we're going to get off. So have a great show.
We'll try
Yeah.
to hop back on with you real quick once we get to the tailgate section. And
Bring your
get into
Sharpies. Chris is signing autographs after the game.
Hey,
Well,
if you guys,
how long are you guys running for?
we'll be on until noon, noon Eastern time, so 11
Okay.
o'clock your time.
Oh, perfect. So we'll hop in at the tailgate if it's not too loud, and just give you a minute there with Chris too.
That's awesome, dude.
Fair
See
down,
y'all.
guys.
Bear
Bear
down.
down.
Never have we ever seen Chris Watts so clean, so quick to respond. It's beautiful, beautiful when it's
Yeah,
stateside.
I think it's that iPhone that Mr. Shorty's. I'm assuming iPhone.
Yeah.
I don't. Man, that was awesome to see
He's
him
in
with
heaven,
George
man.
House. He's definitely. I wanted to ask him about his flight and all that stuff, but yeah, I mean he's got a lot going on. That's so awesome. I think. Excuse me. I think while we were on with him, KB got a call out, so hopefully they're not burning down South Bend, and he's got to go save a cat out of a tree or something. I don't
Speaking
know.
of South Bend, man, it's the kind of defense that Caleb Williams just doesn't see in the Pac-12. Maybe Utah, but
That's
you
the
know?
only one, Tooch. That's the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
Utah got a hell of a pass rusher over there, Ellis. It was Aaron Ellis' son. He's a dad. Played Luther Ellis played in the NFL. Kid can rush passer. Had a couple sacks yesterday. You just don't see that kind of defense in the Pac-12, and
Yeah.
it showed.
Can I be honest for a second, Tooch? And I say this as a Californian born and raised, and I don't take pride in this, but it's just the truth. It's not just like they don't play defenses like that. I'm sorry, California, West Coast, and let me be very clear: the hotbeds of football, California produces good football talent. Texas, Florida, I get that, but as far as actual competitive collegiate football, West Coast is some soft ass shit. Let's be real. Like it's a different ball game when you play in the Midwest. You play SEC. You play Atlantic Coast competition. I get it. You can be big hot shit when you're at SC, UCLA. Go play up against a real squad, like I on real shit too. Take a play Iowa, and I promise you it would look different. I'm not saying that they wouldn't beat Iowa because Iowa can't find some offense.
Yeah,
but the reality is, see if Cooper DeJean doesn't find Dijon find 5 interceptions off of Caleb. Like it's just a different ball game when you're not playing the Powder Puff League.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why historically USC quarterbacks don't do as? I mean, I liked Carson Palmer. He played for my team at the time. But other than him, there's not really like a superstar USC court. And I hate the helmet scout, but do you think that has something to do with why they struggle when they come into the league?
I'll never subscribe to the idea of helmet scouting, but I do think that there's some reality of it's a couple things. I don't think we ever talk about this enough. Quarterbacks, where you land is so important.
Absolutely.
But to that point, these USC quarterbacks that are being drafted, they're being drafted high for their collegiate achievements.
Mm-hmm.
And the question to your point then, AC, becomes, but what they accomplished in college, was it real or was it, cheap calories there? And that's the reality. Is there was no substance in a lot of these USC quarterbacks' careers. Who was Mark Sanchez playing against? Who was Sam Darnold playing against? Caleb Williams, I get it, man. He's putting up 50 points a game with no defense. But at some point, and I know this is hard for Bears fans. And please, you can skewer me if you've heard me say differently, either of you or the chat. But the reality is at some point you have to take and extrapolate all that out and go, but put the kid in a realistic situation, in a real NFL simulated offense. And this is why unless you ask me about JJ, this will be the last thing I say, but this is why I've been so high on JJ McCarthy. Mm-hmm. The kid plays in an NFL style offense, and he's not the star of the picture every game. As a matter of fact, his touchdowns and all that are down because they're so insistent upon feeding Blake Corum the ball every time they get into the goal line. Well, guess what? That's an NFL-style offense.
Right.
You are having to operate as sometimes the second or the third fiddle because Jim Harbaugh decides he wants to run the ball and play defense. This isn't the Lincoln Riley show where we're going to put everything on the quarterback and it's going to be the circus show where you're just going to backpedal and circle around for 13 seconds. You're going to find somebody open because it's not realistic to ask defenses to cover your receivers for that long. And all of a sudden, when an NFL, I shouldn't say an NFL-style defense or NFL quality defense, but let's be real. Notre Dame has a solid defense. They're coached well. Yeah. All of a sudden, when you apply that onto the circus show offense of the USC, this is the results you get.
It may have helped. It may have helped Notre Dame a little bit to go to Louisville last weekend at night and lose because then they were like, let's get right. You know what I'm saying? Like they may have even overlooked Louisville a little bit looking forward to this USC matchup. And Louisville went to a 1-win Pittsburgh last night and lost. And I had Pittsburgh +8, so I'm happy about that. I've been going through a losing streak on betting, and that one hit, and I was happy about that for sure. But some guys in the chat were talking about Oregon, Washington. I know that was on yesterday. Beautiful. That was a really fun game, back and forth. I think, well, I guess now it'd be different, but I put $5 on Oregon to win the Pac-12 because I just think they're a complete team out there. They play defense and offense. Maybe Washington. I could have bet Washington, but I had better odds for Oregon
yesterday. I got lucky as hell. But,
yeah.
Hey, man, can we talk about the Notre Dame schedule? Because whoever put that schedule together was cruel because they open up in Ireland against Navy. So you got to fly to Dublin. Then they played like a couple cupcakes, 3 cupcakes in a row. Then they had Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, and USC. Four tough games in a row for the Irish. So, they probably could be, a top team, but, the record's going to show differently because they played a really tough schedule.
I'm not going to complain about scheduling because I'm a Kentucky fan. Right. We just played Georgia, and then we played Missouri. Yep. This week we're off, and then we go to play Tennessee, and then South Carolina right after that. The back half of our schedule is atrocious, and we still need 1 win to get bowl eligible. So
not to get too far down the hole, AC, but let's shift just very briefly your conversation about the SC quarterback helmet scouting. Why doesn't that work? And I'm telling you, I'm not a Michigan fan or anything. I just like Michigan's program, like Jim Harbaugh, like a lot of things they got going on. To your point too, that's one of my frustrating parts is that Michigan's schedule is such a joke that I don't even know how much I can truly evaluate because they're not playing anybody for a long ass time. They're playing Michigan State next week, so I guess that'll be maybe the first one, maybe. Yeah. And so, and then you got to think they have the coach in transition, so there's a lot of questions there. But that, to your point, AC, is what kind of the issue is when we talk about helmet scouting with Ohio State quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even say, again, I don't believe in helmet scouting, but the Big Ten, as much as it's quality football, it's Midwest football, there is also a sense there, too, that whether we like it or not, I don't think this is good for college football, but the Big Ten has maybe 2 or 3 legitimate contenders every year. And so you have these teams like, and it's not that Ohio State's naturally better, but they get the better recruits. So then all of a sudden when you're playing with the better recruits and you get your quarterback in there and he's playing against the other Big Ten opponents, it's not nearly the same. And that's, somebody I think.
And it helps. It helps. You talked about the high school pipelines, California, Texas, Florida, Ohio is one of those places too. And Michigan's becoming one of those places. And a lot of those schools, it's very easy for them to go into their backyard and pick up a kid that's cheered for them their entire life and offer them a scholarship, and they're just going to take it. Kentucky has to. That's how Mark Stoops has built this program. He goes up to Ohio where he's from. But if they have an Ohio State offer, they're not coming to Kentucky. Like Benny Snell grew up a Ohio State fan, had the jersey, all that, but they never offered him. So we went up there and offered him, and he became Kentucky's all-time leading rusher. That's why when we play teams like a Georgia or in Alabama, who we're going to play later this year, that's why we can't compete with them, because they are getting 5-star recruits in their backyard in a pipeline. Georgia's becoming one of those states as well. And we have to go out of our jurisdiction really and get the crumbs that's left from Ohio State really.
And it's a travesty and it's a problem. And I know we're not a college football podcast, so I'll get off this in just a second.
Right.
It's just unfortunately there's also no impetus to ever change that. If I'm a kid coming up, why would I ever want to go to Temple? Why would I want to go to, respectfully, Iowa? You've not shown me anything for a reason to why? I would rather go to, and it's not that it has to be Penn State or Ohio State or SC or Bama or Georgia, but and all due respect, AC, I truly mean it's not like anything against Kentucky, but I'd rather go play for the fucking Gators before I played for Kentucky. What has Kentucky shown me? The Gators are relevant. It's just there's these pipelines that the process to try to break through and actually get some of this talent elsewhere is so hard to do. And I mean, the last thing I'd say is really credit to Kirby Smart in Georgia. That's actually what nobody talks about, but that's why Alabama has seen a decline, is because Kirby Smart has found a way to break in and take a lot of those talent pools that were just filtering into Bama, and he's got them to sway over to Georgia. And that is a direct reflect on why Bama is not nearly the powerhouse that they've been in so many years before.
Yeah, and before we get off college, I just want to say, Drake May has looked really good, but his brother tore my Kentucky Wildcat heart out years ago, so I just have a bias against that kid. But maybe
he's in a
good.
Bears uniform,
right? But the thing is, the quarterback that we have in a Bears uniform right now seems to have turned the corner, is playing really well. The downfield throws, he's actually taking them. He can still run, so don't get it twisted. I'll be watching for that today. I think they're going to try and cover up DJ Moore, and Brian Flores likes to blitz Jordan. I think he blitzes 60% of the time. So if Justin can get out, maybe we'll see a big run from Justin today. I feel like we got to get.
He's got to run, Aaron, because Minnesota's allowing 66 yards rushing per game. One of the tops in the NFL run defense. So you gotta. We're gonna have to throw.
Yeah,
we're banged up at wide receiver.
The bottom 3 passing defenses in the league are Denver, who we should have beat, and then I think us, and then the third one is the Vikings. The Vikings, they have Harrison Smith, but that's. I like who they bring in. Byron Smith, they brought him in, correct? I liked him a lot, but he's just not. I haven't seen him do anything other than getting ran over by Baker Mayfield and telling him to hit the weight room. That's the only thing I've seen from him this year, which is surprising to me. But I think we should get into this game a little bit more.
Yeah.
Running back position is hurt this week. Roschon's out. Khalil Herbert hit the IR yesterday. I don't know what took him so long to finally put him on
Homer's
IR.
got a hamstring, right?
Homer's out. So you've got Deontay Foreman. Thankfully, he has starting history, so he has been the RB1 before. We brought in Darrington Evans off the Dolphins practice squad, who knows the offense. He was here last year, so I don't know how much they're going to lean on him. But if it is a sloppy, rainy day, there's probably going to be a lot on Deontay Foreman today, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I love Foreman. I mean, what do we have? Do we promote Burns from the practice squad or no?
Burns.
I
Was
didn't
it
see
Josh
anything like that.
Burns? Is that his name?
Robert Burns.
Robert Burns. Yeah, that kid could run hard. I mean, if we just have Foreman and Darrington Evans, we're in for a long day. I mean, but they have to throw, and I'm worried a little bit about the 14-mile-an-hour winds today at Soldier Field. I know we're not going to get the rain. That's a blessing. But if we can't throw, we're going to have a hard time run. I'm glad that they finally are giving Foreman a chance. That dude's a beast, man. He runs hard. He catches the ball, too, out of the backfield. So we're going to have to hit him on screen passes. He's going to have to be involved in the passing game because, like I said, Minnesota has a really good rush defense. You know, they're going to force Justin Fields to throw, and if it's windy, they're going to have some success. But yeah, I still like the over in this game. I think there'll be some points. I think the Bears. This is a Bears game that they can win. Now I said last weekend this team could be 3-2. You know, we'd be having a much different conversation if it was.
Absolutely.
You know, well, 1-4 as it is, and you know, you talked about Justin Fields. Now he's starting to turn the corner, as you said. A lot of that, I mean, it was very public growing pains. I think Jordan will agree with me that, you know, he came out and he said, I got to be me. And he didn't want to throw to a spot. You know, he didn't want to fit into the timing of Getsy's offense, the timing elements of receivers having to be in a spot, and receivers probably weren't on the same page. They got rid of Claypool because he probably didn't know the playbook as well as he should.
Hey, he looks like a vending machine down there in Miami, they said. Vending machines don't move. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of talk about Justin Fields having to have his receiver be so wide open, you know, and that's not the NFL. The NFL opens a bunch. You can't just wait to see. We're not Kansas City. We're like Travis Kelce's going to go to a spot, you know, the soft spot in the zone and sit there, and he's always open. It's Patrick Mahomes run around and avoid the sack and pressure, you know, making plays, extending the play, and there's Kelce finding the soft spot. Boom. That's what they do. You know, we're not to that point yet, Jordan.
No, you know, it's tough, fellas, because I know we call myself the cynic. I'm not here to totally, diminish what Justin Fields has done, and I think he's obviously shown a clear improvement. But I also think that there's a lot of, you know, I don't want to say cause for concern, but tail of the tape where it's a little questionable. I mean, look, the reality is most of those completed passes to DJ Moore against Washington, none of them really came over the middle of the field. There weren't a lot of middle of the field throws. And I get it, like, let the kid play how he wants to play, let him throw how he wants to throw. But at some point, you're not going to have those options. I mean, you talk about certain plays where it's rolling off of the fingertips of a DB into DJ Moore's hands, and you're watching DJ Moore do his job, which credit to DJ Moore, and that's why you bring a guy like him in. I think that you're seeing a lot of, I don't know if it's, you know, Getsy telling him or Fields is just feeling himself to do it, but it feels like there's a lot of forced aggression to say, I don't care if anybody else is open. You just deliver it to DJ Moore. Just throw it to DJ Moore. I don't care what happens. And maybe that's what you got to do. But I also think that it's just a, you know, cause weary is what you could call me for now. Like, I need to see it a little more. I think that this game's really, and I see Jay Sanderson, he's still hating. No, I'm not hating. I just think that, you know,
I think you're correct, though. We all need to see it a little more. I mean, when you're talking about, if you have to make a financial investment in Justin Fields, the price starts at $40 million for a starting quarterback these days. So you have to, if you don't like what you saw in Caleb Williams yesterday, and that's a small portion
it's one game
of his whole career. Justin Fields did have a 3-interception game as well against Indiana. So if you're moving forward with him as your quarterback, then you're having to make a financial investment. You have to see more than 2 games against 2 of the worst defenses in the league who give up, you know, the Commanders gave up a ton of points. They took Philly to overtime, but that was a 34-34 tie. So it's not like they weren't giving up points.
Letdown spot.
Absolutely. But I wanted to bring up Matthew Fulchisi here talking about, can the O-line block this D-line? Before last Thursday, I would have said absolutely not. But we went up against Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, who should have been freaking fined and flagged for that bullshit tackle he did on Justin Fields, and Montrezl Sweat, and we held our own. They only had 2, maybe 3 sacks or something like that. our defense actually had more sacks. Now, granted, Sam Howell is the most sacked quarterback in the league this year up to this point. But I really like the way this offensive line is starting to gel, and I love Jordan. I know you love this guy. Tevin Jenkins has showed up and balled out. Like, I don't know how else to say it. He is showing up and he is saying, "This is why I was drafted," and he is burying dudes. And we saw that all over his college tape. We're starting to see it on his NFL tape, and I love it. I just hope the guy can stay healthy, because if he can, I think he is a stalwart at the left guard position. Maybe he's not a top tackle, but I really think him in a phone booth fighting somebody, give me Tevin all day long. And we've seen it for years. Jordan, I'm sure you're excited about Tevin. Can you tell me about this O-line?
No, I love Tevin Jenkins. I mean, I won't go back to Justin Fields just yet, but you did such a great job, AC, talking about financials, because
Right.
I know that, and I'm not blaming Chad or anybody, any of us fans. You want to live life on a week-to-week, game-by-game basis, but you also try to take a step back occasionally and think about the team moving forward and what are the long-term prospects. And so I love a guy like Tevin Jenkins. I just also think that Tevin Jenkins has yet to ever show that he can be sustained as a healthy player. And so, you got a situation with him coming up where, what does he have, another 1 year of contract after this? Like, now is the real time for him to show that he needs to stay healthy. But absolutely, there's no qualms about him. When he's on the field, he's a glass eater. He's a junkyard dog. Like, it's everything that we like and what everybody should like about their offensive lineman. So he's a solid player, and I'd like to see him get worked into the rotation a bit more if they're going to hopefully start him. Mm-hmm. Obviously, at center's the weak spot.
I was just about to say that. I mean I want to talk about the injuries along the offensive line. Lucas Patrick, Whitehair is going to be at center, I think, tonight.
Kramer's back finally.
Kramer's back. We haven't given Feeney a chance. I kind of like the junkyard dog Feeney. I want him in there. He's a veteran. He's not that. I know the Bears run the zone blocking scheme, and the guy doesn't have the wheels to get out and some. Let's give him a chance, before we just write him off,
Right. I mean, we traded for the guy, so obviously they saw something in him. They're not just gonna, something in their pro scout department said, we like this guy, and he's worth giving up a draft pick for. So obviously there's something there with Feeney. I do worry about Whitehair. He had a couple of snaps where Justin saved his fucking ass last Thursday, where he's grabbing it up here and then he runs forward for 3 or 4 yards. Like, if it's wet out there, is Whitehair going to be able to get? Oh, yeah. He's still doing the thing where he holds the ball this way and then almost flips it up and it hits his ass on the way back. Like, I don't know if that's a coaching issue or if that's just what he's comfortable doing. Either way, it's not going to be pretty if it's wet grass out there, in my opinion, especially when you're down to your like I said, Foreman's a starter, was a starter, but he's your third string running back. Like, that's who you're. If it's wet, man, you gotta worry about ball security. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the center of the offensive line is the weak point. I'm highly encouraged by what I saw from Larry Borum. I know some people are still shitting on him, but I mean, he went one-on-one with Chase Young a lot last week, and I think he gave up a sack. Like, this is your swing tackle. This is your backup that plays both positions, and he's playing against a number 1 overall pick and gave up a sack. Like, that's incredible. And I'm vice president of the Braxton Jones fan club. If Skonks is in the chat, he's still the president of it, and I still love him. But it's going to be hard for me to just hand him back the keys when Larry Borum's playing the way he's been playing, fellas. Does anyone agree? Or
I can't believe you're talking like this about a Missouri player.
I know. There you go.
I think Larry Borum has acquitted himself quite well as the swing tackle. To be clear, I mean, I'm not blaming you of this, AC, but for anybody box score scout, they're gonna be like, oh, only 1 sack. And to be fair, the tape was a lot more rough than that. Like, he was giving up a lot of pressures, but I also take this into consideration of, the circumstances. Like, he is the swing tackle. He is playing with, less time and chemistry built with this squad than the others on the line. He is facing Chase Young on a revitalization season where he looks healthy again. Like, you do have to take all that into consideration. So I don't know if I'd necessarily say, oh, you got the job over Braxton Jones, but he has acquitted himself well. Nate Davis looks fantastic, and I'm glad. Like I'm going to keep putting that one down. Like I'm glad that Bears fans would just shut the fuck up about it, because Nate Davis, man, you're not allowed to have bereavement, man. Yeah, God forbid somebody dies.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to not allowed to grieve.
I think, a few weeks part of that was on the Bears organization, because we didn't know what was going on.
100%.
There was rumors that this is what happened, but we didn't. And I still don't know if they've come out and said, yes, this is what happened. His mother passed away. I think we just found out that his mother passed away, and then we all were like, okay, now I feel like an asshole for saying something. But when you're trying to build an offense, a brand new offensive line, you want them all to gel together, and here it is in the fourth game, they're finally looking okay. What if these guys would have played in the preseason? You know what I'm saying? Then you're hitting the ground running against the Packers week 1, which is a game we freaking needed. I mean, the Packers look awful now. Now, hopefully they win a couple more games and they finish in the middle of the draft and they don't get a generational talent at quarterback again. But like, Jordan Love looks awful. Like, he just looks terrible. And I never thought I'd see the day where we have the better quarterback than them. But it looks like it to me right now. It does look like it.
No, you're spot on. I think realistically speaking, and I mean, you look at it two different ways. I think if you were looking to take a single quarterback from the NFC North and project him out for the next few years, you're probably taking Justin Fields, no question about it. Right now, presently, and again, you can't wipe away the first 3 games, but I think to me, you're probably taking, for the rest of the season, you're either taking Justin Fields or Jared Goff. And Jared Goff's a tough one because he's in a great situation and he's got a lot of things going well for him and a good offensive coordinator. But again, I still probably give him the nod just because it's been a really clean, good year for Jared Goff. You've seen what he can do when the situation's right. Mm-hmm. But right after him, I mean, I'm certainly not hitching my horse to Jordan Love, ahead of Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins, who Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. We all know what he is. So that's I think why you see so many people harnessing down to Justin Fields, and I see team Fields or whatever in the chat. I mean, that's the reality is, and it's tough because the kid's played 30 games. At some point you got to go like what he is, but I do think right now you can still say that there's still some room left to say I don't exactly know the book on Justin Fields yet. It's still not fully written, where a lot of these other guys, like Jared Goff has the book written. Kirk Cousins has the book written. Jordan Love doesn't. But it's that's why I think that you're
Jared Goff's on the sequel of his book. I mean, his first book was in L.A. He took them to the Super Bowl, so he's on his sequel.
And it looks the same. And this is what I mean when you say like sometimes you got to go like, I know what a guy is. Like Jared Goff looks great because there's a lot of play action. There's a good running game. It's a lot of
good receivers,
easy dimed up options over the middle, and then they tell Jared if it's not open over the middle, you check it down. And this is exactly what worked for Sean McVay in LA with Jared Goff. Like sometimes you're too close to the forest to see the trees, but you know what a guy is. And Jared Goff is Jared Goff. That's Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. Like when you have that, that's where I think I feel confident to say, hey, if you're looking for a quarterback in the North, sign me up for Justin Fields on a long-term view. This season, maybe I don't want to take Justin Fields. Maybe I'll take Jared Goff or something. But over the long term, yes, Justin Fields is probably your best option.
That's the question.
KB, welcome back, man. I think you got a call out there. I thought I heard a siren, and you hopped out, so I just assumed that that's what had happened. So we talked a little bit about the running back. We talked a little about the O-line. It sounds like you're chopping up when you talk. Can you speak for a second?
Robot. Mr. Roboto.
You got sucked into the Matrix, brother.
Can we go back to the Nate Davis thing for a second?
Yeah,
because we had the Bears PR department has to take a hit on this because I don't know whether there's been a season with more scandal for a Bears team. Alan Williams, Chase Claypool, Nate Davis. They didn't handle the Nate Davis thing. I know someone in there said that maybe he didn't want it to be known. But if you remember when Nate Davis came to town, there was one story where they had put up some film of Nate Davis with all of his loafs, and he took it personally. And Matt Eberflus had to take him out to dinner and sit down with them and say, hey, don't take it personally. We want you to get better as a player. I don't know whether Matt Eberflus handled it the way you'd like it to be handled. But the kid probably, he took it personally, like, hey, these guys are calling out my game, and now you see he's starting to put together the tape that we thought we'd see when we signed him as a free agent. But as I said, this whole season has been a ton of scandal. When the Bears got out of town, they got away from the scandal and went out and focused to play a good game, complete game against the Commanders. We have to be careful we don't fall apart in the second half, because if I were to make a bold prediction about this game, I'd say Kirk Cousins is going to have a chance to either tie it or take the lead at the end of the game. I hate to say it, but I mean, this game is a 3-point spread, so they're expecting it to be close. We just have to hope that Kirk Cousins chokes again. And a lot of people don't know Kirk Cousins, a local Chicago kid, went to Barrington High School, in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So
I got this game at +3 before it dropped to 2.5. I went ahead and parlayed +3 money line and the over. So that gives me a little bit of, and I think without Justin Jefferson, it'll be interesting to see what the Vikings offense is able to do without that main piece. And we had a lot of young guys in the secondary last Thursday step up and play big. I think Terrell Smith is hurt, though. That hurts. And Stevenson played really well against Terry McLaurin, other than a couple of penalties. I mean, he's getting handsy, but you're going up against one of the best receivers in the NFL, for all of his. I know he's underrated a lot, but Terry McLaurin is great. He does everything for the Commanders. But he held his own out there.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, and
how do I sound?
You sound good now.
Yeah, all right. Give us some commentary, bro. I know you want to say something.
Man, where were we at?
Well, we've talked running back, we've talked O-line, we've talked a little
out.
Justin Fields, and now I thought we'd talk a little Vikings. And unless you want to cover one of the previous topics, because I know you were out.
Far as running backs go,
I got a question for you, KB.
What's the weather at? Hell, it might be just a little cold. It's you might get sun. Who knows? It might rain. Who knows? It's Chicago. You're right off
Chicago.
You love off Lake Michigan, man. Ain't no telling. We get all kind of weather out here.
You're the closest, to the Soldier Field.
That's what I'm saying. In this area, bro, it's all 4 seasons at once. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it snowed at some point today. So, but as far as everything else, man, running back, would love to see what Foreman does today. I was actually kind of excited when we signed the guy, so I would love to see him play well today. Let's see what else. Quarterback. We'll see what Fields does, man. If they come out with the same game plan that they've had the past 2 games, I expect him to put up numbers. It's as simple as that. And also going toward this thing with Justin Jefferson not being in. With Justin Jefferson not being in, you don't have to focus in on one person, right? You can kind of spread the defense out and say, hey man, we can play freer instead of saying we have to dedicate, 2 to 3 people on one side to say, hey, we have to take him away. So,
you went Dr. Robotnik on us again there.
You sounded like one of those people that has lung cancer where you got to put the thing to you.
All right, Aldo's got the play for us. The forecast.
I can't hear you at all now. You have to go into your settings and change your microphone to the one on your computer.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
He's got it. It sounds good now.
Here we go. I just took my headphones out. Fuck it. But no, man, you can spread the field out, man. You can play freer, man. You don't have to, focus too much on Justin Jefferson since he's not there. I mean, Addison, don't tell me y'all can't hear me again, man.
No, we hear you. I'm just looking at the
you.
chat. They're cracking me up. His microphone caught on fire.
The chat's lighting you up.
Not my microphone caught on fire. Oh, Lord.
You Decepticon.
Hey man, I take this. Hey man, we rock Team Decepticon over here, baby. But no. I'll look for us to play a little freer today. Hopefully they dial up the blitz on Kirk Cousins because he's never played well under pressure. Hey, there you go with the Darnell.
Sanborn.
Oh, he got Sanborn. I was about to say Darnell Wright. That's 58. I'm tripping. Hey, man, look. It's one of them days, bro.
I ain't bought Darnell right yet, but I do.
Y'all
like
killing me on my headphones, bro. Look, I left my quarter ones at the house. Man.
Dollar Tree headphones.
Got the Bluetooth to the shit, man. Damn, bro, don't kill me, man.
I said Dollar Tree headphones.
Oh my god, hurting my feelings, man. Hurting my feelings.
Apocalypse.
But yeah, bro. Now, but we caught up now, so go on ahead.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, like I said, Justin Jefferson and him not being there is a big. I mean, and I know it came out yesterday that Kirk Cousins was not going to waive his trade clause, so he's going to be a Viking the rest of the year. They're going to ride it out with him, but it does not look good in Minnesota. I mean, and it's all one-score games. Like last year, they won 11 one-score games. They were the only
How long
team
has he been in Minnesota? Do you guys know?
long enough to get multiple extensions.
Four
I mean, they just signed him.
5 years.
5 years.
Man, he's got like five. He's got like Phillip Rivers kids. You know, he's got like a bunch of kids. They're probably happy. You know, they're settled into their schools, the wife, everything. You know.
Did you hear? I think Justin Jefferson had came out and said that he was going to watch tape with Kirk, and Kirk picked him up in a minivan, and he was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I didn't watch the Netflix show, but apparently it showed Kirk in a.
You need to watch it, AC.
Yeah,
I'm not even like the biggest Kirk Cousins fan, but after watching it, I am a big Kirk Cousins fan. Like, I respect the man. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but he doesn't get enough love.
They showed him at the Twins game, and like, you know, he was just sat in the bleachers like a normal fan, and other fans have finally discovered he was there, and you know they were really cool. I don't know if it's true. I think
he's the guy that's gonna, when he does retire, because he's made so much money. He's really done it the smart way. A lot of these players want long-term extensions. Kirk just says, just give me 1 or 2 years and then we'll revisit this. And he's making a ton of money. And he doesn't, he's like the king of Cole's cash is what I've heard. So he's going to live off this money when he retires. You're not going to see Kirk begging for a job when he does finally retire. He's going to ride off into the sunset. Maybe he'll do what Phillip Rivers did and go be a high school coach somewhere.
His family is wealthy, though. His parents, I mean, Barrington's one of the wealthiest suburbs in the Chicago area, and if I remember stories, his parents were fairly well off.
His dad was a football coach, a good family. I mean, all that.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't necessarily think I watched the show and was like, man, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's just you walk away from that show watching Kirk Cousins, and he's a wholesome dude. And
I was going to say, you get real good vibes from the Kirk Cousins thing. And low key, the show made me have a better appreciation for who he is as a person. Yeah. So I definitely I get what you're saying. He comes off as a really genuine guy.
I heard that little beep. Someone's
Speaking
back
of a
here.
genuine guy and a great person, live at the tailgate, our man C-Dub got him a solo cup. What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, fellas?
Doing great.
A nice Bloody Mary. We're just going to have something to eat, and then we've got to go meet somebody from Chicago Bears for an interview.
Oh, no, are you doing the lunch with Larry today, correct?
So you're right, mate.
Larry Mayer. All right, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The photographers, they want us there in our seats at like 11:30 to do some photo shoots, and then he's going to hang out there until the game starts and get some more photo shots for the Bears website.
Superstar Chris Wallace. We got to change his name now.
Yeah, and don't worry, fellas. You'll all get a mention in the interview.
Let's go.
You're not going to get left out, mate.
They probably won't put it in the damn paper just like they didn't do for the Fox News.
Yeah, you're probably right. They won't put the. Oh, that guy's got almost my beard. Look at him.
Get him up there a bit. See what's going on there. Look at that.
Nice.
Tailgate.
That was goddamn skinny Santa Claus, wasn't it?
Man, I could smell the sausages grilling from here.
Yeah, look at this.
I can't wait till next week, man.
Look at this spread.
Oh,
yeah, breakfast there. What's that, hash browns?
Sausage and hash browns. Let's go.
Breakfast time. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, got some burgers in there. Show me the burgers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Y'all
All
making
right,
me hungry
man. Look at
over
those
here.
burgers. Nice, man. Woo-hoo.
What better to have
Yeah.
tailgating than on the Barfly tailgate show?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I just bring it for you,
Absolutely.
boys. You know what I mean? I actually bring a real tailgate to the tailgate show.
What
But yeah,
which
it's
lot are you
absolute-
guys in?
It's absolutely awesome, boys. And the good thing is that I'm going to be doing this for you guys next week, which is going to be mind blowing. So yeah, can't wait for next week to see you all in the flesh and give you a big hug. And yeah, this is so fucking surreal, man. I can't get words out of my mind. It's so weird. It's so brilliant and awesome, but it's so surreal. But it's an amazing experience so far.
That's really awesome, dude. What's the weather like out there, fellas?
It's good. It's there's not much wind. There's no rain, so it should be all right game time.
I wore a hoodie, and I almost feel like I could take it off.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Good
Which lot are you guys in?
It's hard to hear you guys. I hope it's not too loud for you.
Oh, it's good over here. Which lot are you guys hanging out at?
We're gonna grab something to eat here, and then we have to head to the stadium so that you can check everything out before it gets too packed. And then we'll be sitting with the photographer for Chicago Bears. So pretty cool, guys.
All right, fellas.
Thank you to everyone. Johnson, Tucci,
Hopefully the beer's cold.
GoFundMe. So thank you guys for being a part of making this happen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bear down, guys.
And that double comes from me. Yeah, everybody who sort of put any money towards, for me coming over, we made this like short middle-aged Yorkshireman's life really, really good. And God bless you all, and bear down, man.
Bear
Bear
down,
down, guys.
Bear down. Oh, that's awesome. Now you got me up here by myself. What's going on?
I got you.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was trying to get Watts up here and us along the side, but it wouldn't let me.
Yeah. I kept seeing you hitting the layout down there. It wasn't going through. I don't know what was going on, but that's awesome to have him in town. The food looked amazing. Got me hungry over here now.
Right. I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what we're doing next week. I hit up Mike Schaefer, former Tailgate Show co-host. Unfortunately, it's his. Well, I mean, fortunate for him, but unfortunately for us, it's his anniversary. So he's not going to be there next weekend when we get there. So we'll have to figure something out, how we're going to tailgate and what all that entails, what's going on out there. But man, it's awesome to see Chris Watts over. That's I know he's wanted to do it for 40 years, he said, and to finally get over here and to shout out to Mr. Shorty for showing him around and, taking him to Portillo's. Hopefully he gets a pizza tonight. I try to tell him to take him up by Wrigleyville. I know the Cubs aren't playing, but Wrigleyville in itself is just it's an experience. And I feel like that's the way the Bears are going to build up Arlington Heights if they ever get out there and actually start doing that stuff, which I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's awesome. If you guys want to give some thoughts on Chris Watts coming across the pond.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. It's dreams come true for people, and I think it's well deserved. It's and then like I said, I'm just enjoying the fact that he's coming up clear. We could hear him relatively quick. It's a different world, but no, we're excited for Chris, and I know he's going to have a good time. And I think as we kind of go into this game a little further, it's going to be an exciting one way or the other.
I was gonna say your boy out there in 4K, man. You can see all the hairs on his chin, boy. That's how good the video looked. You know what I'm saying? You can hear him clear. Oh, I love it. There was no
delay or anything.
You need to take some of that internet back with him, man. But no, man, it's nice to see him light up, man. You can see that he's genuinely happy, man, and that's all that we all can ask for, man. Just to see him genuinely happy to be around all those people that you pretty much just been talking to for years on computer and shit. So, I mean, it's a good feeling, man. I'm happy to see one of our own doing just happy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It ain't been a lot to be happy about, But
yeah. What about you, Touche? How you feeling about Chris Watts finally being in
Man, I
town?
love it. I thought he was coming next weekend though, but
He's coming for both. He
Yep.
came this weekend and hung out with Mr. Shorty, and next weekend he's gonna hang out with Aldo. I'll be coming in Saturday. We haven't worked out all the plans yet, but I'll probably go see what Aldo's got going on. Like I said, Kentucky don't play next Saturday, so I ain't got no plans for next Saturday.
yeah, it's like a 6-hour drive for me, but I'll try and make it
Same.
out there. Yep.
Oh, there goes my garage. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
A little bit.
Okay. We'll move on and talk a little bit more about this game and what we think. What do you
We're really
guys
catching a break with Justin Jefferson out?
Right.
Yeah, you really are.
You know,
Although I
really
will say,
catching a break.
you're not wrong, Tucci, and I absolutely agree. I mean, he's arguably the best non-quarterback in the league, one of the best players definitively. So you're absolutely getting catching a break on that. But I also think, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have their inactives today, but I also wouldn't tell people to just assume that Vikings offense is a one-man show with Justin Jefferson. KJ Osborne can go off on any given day. Jordan Addison's only getting more comfortable. And the TJ Hawkins, I know TJ Hawkinson gets a lot of flack, but TJ Hawkinson's been a solid, productive player when he's been with the Vikings. Yeah, I know. I see you pointing to the Iowa. Yeah, I get it.
we make tight ends out here, Jordan.
Yeah.
And
Bears never draft him.
We're going to see, because the thing that he wasn't a transformative player in Detroit when they didn't have a star receiver taking the shine. So we'll see if he can be the traditional Hawkinson today when Jefferson's out. But I'm just saying, KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, those guys can eat. I mean, look no further. I'm a Jordan Addison fantasy owner. Not that he's lighting it up, but it seems like for most weeks he usually gets one big touchdown catch. So we'll see how. The good news is, to your point, too, you're catching the break with Jefferson out. You're also catching the break because you're getting Jalen Johnson back, Kyler Gordon back. You're hoping that we can kind of put a blanket or a roof on top of this Vikings.
That's the thing. Is like Jordan Addison is a zone buster. He's top 5 in the NFL versus zone coverage. So we really, I mean, it would help the Bears to play a little man on guys like Addison and Osborne. But we'll see how stubborn Eberflus is in sticking to his defense. AC.
Yeah, for sure. We did see
Eddie out still.
Yeah,
I believe that Eddie is out. Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Hey, who's this guy? What is it, Furman?
J2K, real quick, post that again. Sorry, Tooch, just real quick. J2K is saying, did you see a question about Addison struggling with press? Post it again.
I can look back in the chat and see where it was.
But it's probably what you were saying, that Addison does struggle with press.
There you go. That's what I was saying. He's a zone beater.
Yeah.
Well, we did see Eberflus show the ability to blitz a little bit in his last game. We'll see if that continues, because that's definitely helped out our defense a lot. I mean, it sucks that it took him 5 weeks to finally make that adjustment, but he did make the adjustment. And Billings was out there balling on last Thursday. I saw him get a big breakup in the backfield. I think it was a tackle for loss, and I texted KB immediately. I was like, "Big Cuzzo," and I took a picture of him when they showed him on the sideline. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Billings. That'll be that dude. I think he needs a long-term contract. I mean, we're seeing Javon Dexter. His numbers are starting to come up some, but it's just hard to move on from a guy who is doing a lot even on when we're not having good games. You know what I mean? He's still playing really well and doing his job. And he talked about that in the offseason, doing his 111th. And I was like, man, you sound like a Belichick
savvy vet
there.
You guys know who Duran Harmon is? 11-year veteran out of Rutgers on the Bears roster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Duran Harmon. We have Duran Harmon?
Yeah, he's a safety.
I see him on the Bears roster. Just saying. Well, he's on the Bears, wearing 37, according to the Bears website. It's like, I didn't know the dude, but
I was gonna say that's the dude that used to play for the Patriots.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay. I was gonna say I know he ain't a world beater, but
You guys were talking about
him
being out.
Huh.
I mean, I will say though, I think for me, don't get me wrong, the Vikings offense versus the Bears defense will be an interesting game. But to me, the game where the bread and butter is of this game, and what I'll be watching for is it's the other side of the ball, the Bears offense versus this Vikings defense. Because to me, the game of football always finds a way to subvert expectations. But to me, it's one of two things that's going to happen, and there's really no middle ground.
I know where you're going,
and because this is the thing is, I actually, and I'll hit my priors, and chat's going to have a roast me here. That's fine. I had said before the offseason, and this is the important part, before DJ Moore was acquired, I had said that the Vikings defense would blank the Bears offense, meaning that they would not be able to put a point up on this Vikings defense. I think having DJ Moore's really helped that. I think the momentum, I think some of the injuries, I think, I expected Flores to be able to get some production out of those first-round picks and second-round picks and Andrew Booth and Lewis Seen last year, getting them ready this year. That hasn't happened. So there's some things, but I own my priors there. But I'm not even telling you that still can't happen. I don't necessarily think it's possible, but one of two things is going to occur. Flores is going to blitz. He's going to send the house. He's going to send a lot of disguises and creepers and simulated pressures, dropping safeties from the line of scrimmage back to the deep third. All of that scary shit's going to happen. It's going to be imperative for Justin Fields to do one of two things. He's either going to crumble under that pressure and throw interceptions and make foolish mistakes, and that was how you get to they're going to blank the Bears offense. Or this is the thing, when you play a lot of man, and Flores likes to play a lot of man, and you're blitzing, if Justin Fields can get out, and this is Fochizi's right ahead of it, if Fields can get out of the pocket and use those legs, it is going to be a gash fest. Fields is going to run for a gazillion yards because the blitz just can't get home to him, and he breaks contain, and it's game over. And those are the two. That's the way the game's going to go. It's one or the other.
To win, he has to win. He's got to run today.
I mean, that's the thing is, we're going to see. You're either going to see the Olay where he does, the back spin out of it, and all of a sudden turns 40 yards out of nothing. So either that has to happen, or I do think though that, and I'll stick to that's the prior. If you can't find a way to utilize those legs, or alternatively, Tooch, he has to be able to read out the blitz and hit his hot on all of those blitzes. Then otherwise you're going to see a nightmarish Bears offense day. Because this is the thing too, is it's not even just about Justin Fields, and nobody's going to talk about that. The offensive line has to sort out the protection. Right. And the problem, and this is why I love Brian Flores, this is why there's no defense like it. You are never right. You cannot be right when you're playing this Vikings defense. When I put 7 people on the line, it doesn't matter how you try to block it up. Somebody is always free, even if you bring your back into block. Yeah. And then on top of that, they have calls to where, you're sliding this way? Great. We're going to drop those players and send them off the opposite side. You will never be right on this defensive front and this pressure package that Flores deploys. So for that reason, you either need to be able to escape and be a magician and a wizard like Fields can be, or you need to be able to read your hots. Those are the ways to get out of it.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I noticed last Thursday, and a lot of people talked about it, was DJ Moore had all of the yards for a wide receiver. No other wide receiver caught a pass. He was just out of reach on Mooney on a couple of balls. One of them, I think the very opening play, it looked like Mooney kind of slowed down and caused Justin to miss that throw. But on the other ones, it just seemed like he was just a little bit ahead of him. He's going to have to get that because Brian Flores, he's a Bill Belichick disciple. He's going to take what you do best and try to take that away from you. So to me, that's DJ Moore. So we're going to have to see a big Mooney game. We're going to have to see Deontay Foreman running the ball well. Some Cole Kmet, who's been playing really well this year. I think he's a top 5 tight end by the numbers. So we'll have to beat them, and he's going to make us beat them in different ways. And to me, I feel like we're ready for that. I feel like Justin has progressed to that, to where he is reading defenses. He is looking off safeties. I know we talk about DJ Moore being wide open last week, but some of those was Justin doing that with his eyes. He looked the safety off and then hit DJ in the corner. We're seeing these progressions by Justin, and I love to see it. Another thing is the Vikings will give you the ball. If it's not Kirk throwing 99-yard interceptions, it is them fumbling. They fumble a lot. And we finally saw last week. I think it was Smith stripped Logan Thomas and dropped down on the ball. We'll have to see guys punching at the ball and trying to get the ball back for our offense, and I think we're going to see that a lot. I know you didn't really want to talk about Bears defense too much because they haven't looked great other than last week, but I feel like maybe they're turning a corner somewhat. I don't know. I'm still not a huge Eberflus fan, but
it's just the matchup I see is the problem to me. Like, so the thing that you can really get after the Vikings on is that their offensive line is trash. It's just not in good shape. But again, I wouldn't tell you that the Bears have world beaters on their defensive line that are going to find a way to capitalize on that. So oh man, they sacked Sam Howell under time. Yeah, Sam Howell's in his 5th or 6th game and holds onto the ball longer than any other quarterback. Kirk Cousins is going to know that difference. I mean, that to me that's why I'm not telling you to not watch that side of the game. I just don't think it's nearly as exciting or enticing because I don't think it's nearly as quality of a matchup. It doesn't mean that Kirk Cousins, the Vikings, are going to beat up on the Bears defense, but I don't think you're going to see, that Vikings offensive line get demolished by this Bears one. I don't necessarily think, you talk about Addison being a zone buster, Hawkinson probably being able to provide some security blanket. But to your point, AC, if there is one, I mean, you're hoping that hits philosophy comes to fruition by punching at that ball because, the ball security has been horrendously bad for the Vikings. And the one thing that, I mean, it's all hocus pocus nonsense, but the reality is the Vikings, everybody's talked about at this point, so beating a dead horse, but you flip a coin, they were flipping the right side of the coin every game last year. Whether you want to call it luck, bad juju, whatever you want to call it, the benefit to the Bears is the Vikings can't catch a break this year. And it's all it's reverting back to the mean. Every opportunity that went your way last year is going the direct opposite for the Vikings. So, I mean, we'll see that. I think, to me, Tooch brought it up earlier. I don't know how traditionally running the ball is going to work well for you against this Vikings defense. They load the front. So I think, nobody's really talking about it, but a lot of this game is going to be on Luke Getsy and his stubbornness. And if he decides to be creative, you understand that you're going to have to play you're going to be playing a lot of man. So are you going to incorporate a lot of rubber routes? A lot of 3x1s. I say that too because you're going to want that 3x1 formation, because I also think if to Flores' point, if Flores is worth his weight in gold and salt, he's going to play cover one double. What is DJ Moore's double 2? Cover one double jersey number 2. This is the New England coverage that everybody should know. It's where essentially they take their best corner off the number 1. They put their second best corner and then double him, and then they put their best corner on the number 2. If Flores is smart, he'll do that to DJ Moore. DJ Moore will have a bracket or a cover, double coverage on him all plays, and then you're hoping that Getsy on the other side can incorporate rubber routes and different route distributions that can hopefully free up an option. Because I know somebody had put Justin Fields just needs to be able to read his second and third reads and stop relying on DJ Moore. The problem is I just don't think he's going to have a lot of time today to get to second and third reads. So it's really imperative on Luke Getsy to be able to design things to go, look, you're probably not going to have DJ Moore here. Don't worry about it. That's why he's on the backside. You're going to need to be able to scheme up, a snag concept or a spot concept, a slot fade to Mooney, take those shots, because you're not going to have a lot of time to sit back there and make plays.
Yeah, it's going to hurt without Equanimous in the run game. He's out with the hamstring. You got DJ Moore. Claypool's gone. I don't know who's starting opposite Moore. Is it Velus Jones?
I hope it's Tyler Scott.
No, it'll be Tyler Scott.
Okay.
Yeah. Darnell Mooney, Tyler Scott.
Darnell. Okay. I thought Darnell was injured. So, yeah, Mooney and Moore will be out there. You still got those two guys. They're pretty quality. And then, after that, we're kind of thin at wide receivers. That's my point here. But Equanimous is a big help in the run game. And like I said, Minnesota doesn't let you run much. They're one of the top teams against the run.
I mean, the only thing you could maybe hope for, and I think I'm giving too much credit to Luke Getsy here, but if you are going to try to commit to that run, I'd maybe try to see if you can get a couple Y sneaks where you're just getting the tight end leaking free. You're having everybody's called the flavor of the month, but the play action where you fake the jet sweep reverse and then he dips it back to your quarterback and the tight end's running down the sideline there. Find a way to because again, Tooch, you're talking about the receivers, and yeah, I agree. That's how you're going to have to feed the ball, but you also want to see if you can get some of these tight ends in play, and I think you're going to need to be able to be creative to get them out, and because otherwise, they're going to be eaten up by all this pressure up front. So how can I find ways to weaponize my offense against that pressure? Find ways to get little late leaks where your tight ends getting out. Screens can sometimes help, but these DBs trigger on the ball quick. So it's going to be. This is why I love Ryan Flores. Like the defense dictates the terms. You as an offense don't get to sit here and go, I'm going to play my game, my style. That doesn't work. So it's all about Luke Getsy. It's about Justin Fields and how do you adjust to a defense coordinator setting the tone.
It's the same on the other side. If we don't dial up pressure on Cousins, he's going to pick us apart. So Eberflus better come up with something, because you pressure Kirk Cousins, he'll make a mistake. The thing is that Minnesota's won the last 4. If this team doesn't, that's not motivation. Four in a row this time has beat us. We want to break the streak today.
Kirk's not going to hang on to the ball the way Sam Howell did last week.
Nope.
That's for sure. So we'll have to come up with and a lot of people talk about the DBs playing back. I watched it last night at Kentucky. They run the same type of defense where your DBs are in zone and you try to get home with the front 4. Maybe you send a linebacker or a corner or something. But when they do that, everything underneath, like they can just throw it little 5 yards and nick and cut you all the way down the field, which is something that they'll have to adjust to. You don't have to worry about Jefferson so much taking off the top, but you do have to worry about Jordan Addison, who's fast on and off the field. So you got to worry about him, and you got to worry about Hawkinson underneath and all these other weapons that the Vikings have. And Kirk's going to know how to distribute it and how to attack your defense. We're getting close to our time here, fellas. So if you want to, if we'll go around the room, give me hit your shout outs. Give me a score prediction, a bold prediction, and your most valuable Bears player today. I'll start with Jordan and go this way, and I'll finish this out. Go ahead, Jordan.
Bold prediction, Darnell Mooney has a day like you've not seen. I think he really explodes. MVP, give me Justin Fields. That's fine. I think he'll find a way to do it again. And then because like I said, to me, I'll go just a little deep into that. I think that it's really hurt to not have Lewis Seen make an impact, not have Andrew Booth show up, and you're relying on Byron Murphy and Mekhi Blackman as your corners, and it's just not look great. And I think that if Fields is who you think he is, he's going to find a way to bust out and make plays. So that's my MVP. Score prediction, I got the Bears winning this 35-24. I mean, it's
nice.
I like I said, I mean,
like that.
I don't know, maybe like I'm called the cynic and all this shit, but I also realize momentum helps. I think I'm let me be very clear. I'm taking a heavy bet on the mini buy, on competency from Luke Getsy, confidence stewing and brewing with Justin Fields, with the understanding that DJ Moore is commanding attention, so that should free up guys like Darnell Mooney. These Kyler Gordon coming back, Jalen Johnson being healthy, Tevin Jenkins starting. I'm betting on a lot of those things, and that it can absolutely backfire. But to me, when you add all those things in, that's why you see me with the whole prediction: Justin Fields the MVP and the Bears winning this ballgame.
Yeah. Go ahead, KB. Or unless you want to do some shout outs, Jordan.
Well, real quick, KB, just shout outs to you all you fellas. And I know we probably won't hear this, but shout out to Chris Watts. Excited to see somebody have their dreams made. Excited for him, and he's happy. Shout out to Dan Shorty, Shortino, for getting Chris Watts out there, and all you fellas getting to hang out with Chris next week. I wish I could be there. I really do, but exciting stuff. And obviously, chat, appreciate you all being here. I say this all the time, but you make this show possible. So if I could ask for just a little favor in return.
They're about to fight each other in there, though, man.
And I'm gonna get to that too in a second. But if you could do us a favor, just like and subscribe, and please, let more peace, more love, less strife. I know it's fun to go back and forth with Don Burr and the Judah tribe, and we appreciate you all being here. But it's a game, fellas, and it's the internet. You're keyboard warriors at best. Let's just relax. Thank you.
Go ahead, KB.
First of all, I'm gonna say bold prediction. My boy Foreman has over 120 yards rushing, probably 2 touchdowns. Bold prediction.
Nice.
MVP. I am gonna go with Fields too. I feel like Foreman playing and becoming the focus today. I think that'll help Fields out. I'm hoping that's the route they go. Score prediction. I say 28-17. I'll take the Bears in this one. I don't think that the Vikings O-line is as good as we make it seem for them to be like, oh, Kirk Cousins will just pick us apart. I kind of feel like theirs might be in the ballpark of the Redskins. Yeah, they got the one tackle that's decent. But other than that, they're just a pretty average line. So I will hope that we put pressure on Cousins because he folds under pressure. That being said, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to y'all boys. And let's say I seen the Judah Tribe and old boy Don Berg going at it left and right, and it's fucking hilarious. Y'all, it's entertainment for your ass. But love you boys, man. Shout out to Chris Watts for actually making it to Chicago and being safe on the trip. Can't wait for next week, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
Go ahead, Tooch.
Very well done. The guy KB's talking about is Christian Darrisaw. He's one of the top in the NFL at not allowing pressure. So,
and I'd be very clear. And I'm not trying to take shots at you, KB, but you said one tackle. I'm going to stand up for the Vikings here a little bit. Brian O'Neill's a motherfucker, man. Like, let's be very clear. Like, the interior of their line's not great. The guards are the problem. Ed Ingram doesn't look great. But Christian Darrisaw, he would have been one of the few tackles. I had Rashawn Slater as a guard. I understand he's a great tackle now, but Christian Darrisaw was the only tackle I had above Tevin Jenkins coming out of that class. So Darrisaw's bona fide. Brian O'Neill is one of the best right tackles in the league. Brian O'Neill is. And then, of course, Garrett Bradbury, he's not special, but he's what you want for his own center.
Wasn't O'Neill a center at Michigan State? He was a center.
I don't know, but
he was the captain of the team. Tackle. Yeah, well, I liked him for the Bears.
Yeah, so it's the guards, but I mean, center's not great either, and that's where I got to let you guys get your shout outs, but Billings can eat. if Billings is going to play like he's always playing, then let big Andrew Billings go up against Garrett Bradbury and just wreck his life. Just give him a swirly all day. That's the way that you can affect the interior of this line, and interior pressure is what cooks quarterbacks. But as far as Yannick and all these other guys coming off the edge, good luck.
All right. Last time I picked an MVP was Cole Kmet had 3 touchdowns versus the Broncos. So I'm hot at picking MVPs. I like to go DJ Moore though in this one. I think, but I think Mooney will have a big day as well. With DJ Moore, to 230 yards last week. I'm going to ride the hot hand here. Vikings aren't the best against wide receivers, so I think that's a spot we can take advantage of them. It comes down to execution. The first 4 games of the season, the Bears didn't execute, whether it was on defense or offense.
We're close, fellas.
Yeah, last week we executed. You saw the difference. Yeah. So if they don't execute today, it's gonna be a long day. I'll tell you, against Brian Flores' defense. But hey, the defense has been getting pressure for the Vikings, and they haven't gotten home. So like Jordan said, it's an underrated defense. We could beat them through the air, I think. And then, like I said, Justin Fields got to escape the pocket, makes the plays of his leg to soften up that defense a little bit. Score, give me the Bears 27, Vikings 24. And I think at the end of the game, Kirk Cousins will have a chance, so we got to either tie it or take the lead. So we're going to have to buckle down. I don't like the way the Bears have played other than in the Commanders game in the second half. We can't revert back to that pre-Commanders game in the second half. We have to execute. And shout outs with chat. Shout out Chris Watts after this show. Come and talk some fantasy football in the chat room with the Goon and Adam Shaw and myself. We'll be doing that. And weekend sports betting tips for every Friday night at 7 for the bar room. Giving out some free plays for the weekend. And then go Bears. That's it.
Go Bears. All right. Yeah. First and foremost, shout out to you fellas for coming on with me every week and talking Bears, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We are here week in and week out of the NFL season, and I couldn't I couldn't imagine spending my Sunday morning any other way. Shout out to Chris Watts at the tailgate, hanging out with Dan. They sent me a picture. I haven't been able to look at it yet because I've been on the show, but he sent me a picture from the tailgate. So that was really cool. Shout out to the chat, man. They've been going at each other. Don Burr and the Ghost of Judah Tribe have really been going back and forth. Jay Sanders has been in there. Phil Cheesy has been in there all day, giving good comments and really helping us along in this show with good content for sure. We love you guys. If you could just hit the like on your way out or something, we appreciate it. And subscribe to the Bar Room, where just like Tooch said, right after we get off here, he's going to help you set your fantasy lineup. And then at halftime and after the game, you've got shows here on the Bar Room Network where they'll talk about everything they saw. Hopefully it's good things, because I love it when John Buffone gets fired up after when the Bears are playing really well, or if they're losing. I mean, he's just good content either way. John Buffone is. And I think Coach T comes on there after the show as well. He's been a terrific add to the Bar Room. I really like a lot of the stuff he has to say and breaking it down analytically. He's an offensive-minded coach, I believe, at I'm assuming a high school level or something. I'm not really sure all of his background, but he is offensive-minded, so it really helps me put it in perspective what Getsy's doing right, what Getsy's maybe doing wrong, which is so it's a fantastic add to the Bar Room for sure. My bold prediction is damn, you guys really took everything I was going to say. So I'll say my bold prediction
You got to go first next week, AC.
Yeah, I'll have to start going first. So Justin, my bold prediction is Justin Fields runs for 2 touchdowns today. He gets on the board running and passing. I think the man defense that the Vikings run is going to help him be able to run a little more when their backs are turned toward us. And Jordan, I was right there with you. I had this score prediction in my head. I think Bears win 34-21. I think that the defense shows up, plays really well, and the offense stays on track and moves the ball, and Justin does it all for us. So he's got to be my MVP, even though he's already been said a couple of times. But and I had this other one. I think Kyler Gordon comes in today and has a Greg Stroman type game with an interception, a sack. I think he comes out with his hair on fire, fired up, ready to go, even with a club on his hand.
Do we know, is he going to have the club or the Q-tip?
Well, I watched a guy with a club on his hand get an interception last night at Kentucky. Max Harrison, I don't know if you've looked at him at all, Jordan, but I think he's draft eligible, so we might lose him after this year. But he's about all we got on that defense. But until next week, we'll get out of here, and we'll just leave everybody with a bear down.
Bear down, everybody.
Bear down.